Hello guys, this is UniGiant, and we just hatched a Togepi. Welcome back to Let's Play Pokémon SoulSilver. Professor Elm already knows that we just hatched his egg. How do you know that? But yes, just like in the original Gold and Silver versions, the egg that Professor Elm's assistant gives you is indeed a Togepi! Now, Togepi is one of those really strange normal types that eventually evolves into a normal flying type in Togetic. I don't know if we ever see it in this game or not. Generally, Togepi is a lot more specially oriented than the other normal flying types, and in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the one that you hatch will actually have extra sensory, which is a very powerful psychic move, usually restricted to certain legendary Pokemon, so it's pretty interesting. The only problem is its stats are pretty underwhelming. Now in the 4th generation it got an additional evolution beyond Togetic, which we won't have access to until after we become champion. And he's a bit of a pain to raise up if you want to, but extra sensory is really nice to have, and he has access to a lot of moves that most other Pokemon don't, so if you can handle it, Togepi isn't such a bad choice to go with in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I just wouldn't recommend it for the original Game Boy Color games. But if you guys remember, we did pick up one more egg. So if we run around for just a tad bit longer, we should be able to hatch that thing, and I know a lot of you guys have been anxious to see what it is. Unfortunately, I think we have to run around for another 200 or so steps, because that's how much longer we were holding onto the Togepi egg as opposed to running around with the other one. This is what I've been doing for the last few minutes, just running back and forth to hatch the Togepi egg. And this is a lot faster if you have a bicycle or something. I mean, I know people in the 3rd and 4th generations, there are really steep slopes that you can just repeatedly go up with your bike, so they would tape down the up direction and just wait and wait until the thing hatches. But here we go, our newest party member is going to be Houndour! Oh boy, if I wanted to use this thing for a long time. And I have the perfect name for this little fella. Because there is nothing more awesome than a dog with rocket shoes. Okay, so Houndour doesn't have the rocket shoes. Now, Houndour is a new Pokemon to the 2nd generation that for some reason wasn't made available in the Johto region, so I decided, what the hell, I'd like to start with one for a change. And you can see his move pool is pretty different. This isn't something that you'd expect from a level 1 Houndour. But I'm apparently better at breeding than I should be, so I just gave him the best moveset I could think of. If anybody's interested in learning how I gave it this particular moveset, I'll explain it in another video, but I don't think anybody wants to listen to me ramble on about breeding for 5 minutes and accomplish nothing. So, now that we're actually ready to go, you know what, why don't we have Lupus out in the front spot? I think I'll hang on to Togepi just for the sake of having somebody in the 6th slot. And let's exchange Smash Ball with Duster over there. How are you doing, Lupus, the newborn? Oh yeah, we've got a whole new town to explore. We went through Union Cave last time and arrived at Azalea Town. Now this place has a lot of history, just like Violet City, except they have a distinct interaction with this particular Pokemon. Ah yes, Kurt. We've heard a lot about this Kurt guy. It's something to do with apricorns. We've been collecting apricorns a lot lately. So the charcoal man can cut down trees. I guess we need to talk to him to progress forward, but we can't go into the gym because Slowpoke tails are tasty. Aww. I love you too, Lupus. And up here we have Kurt's house, apricorn and nothing else, the stubborn Pokeball creator. Well, gee, because everybody would write that on their mailbox to describe themselves. And for some reason, I think there's a hidden item around here, too. I'm not going to waste too much time looking for it. I'm pretty sure one of these would have the hidden item. Maybe not. I'm thinking of something else, I suppose. So, you're Kurt, right? Talk to the daughter first, because... Are you his granddaughter, maybe? I think that's his granddaughter. Yes, please make me some balls, old man. Aww. Yeah, I've heard all about Team Rocket and how they were disbanded 3 years ago, but apparently they're back. Cutting off Slowpoke tails? Why are Slowpoke tails worth as much money as they are? This is the only thing from this... Well, there are a lot of things from this game I don't understand, but that's the biggest one I don't understand. But anyway, it looks like the old man was able to chase off that rocket grunt that was blocking the way into the well over here, so I suppose we should head down there and see what's going on. Hey look, it's a Slowpoke! I'm not surprised, he seemed pretty weak. Oh jeez, are you okay? How are you gonna get out of the well if you slammed... I mean, an old man falling from this height, hitting his back, I'm actually surprised that didn't kill you. Well, I suppose it's up to us. Time to chase off Team Rocket! I'm gonna keep turning back to see Lupus, but there is one particular Pokemon we'll run into down here that isn't a Zubat. I don't think Lupus is fast enough to run away from this thing, so I'll just switch into Duster and, or Sleepy, and maybe you'll get some experience from it. There's no reason not to. There's one new Pokemon we can run into here just walking around. I think he's a 15% find. So if I don't get a wild encounter that is him, I'll just skip it. And you'll see up here, our first Team Rocket grunt! That's gotta be pretty embarrassing to just be so scared of an old man yelling at you to tumble down a well. And I'd like to find somebody in this world that does not like this battle theme going on in the background here. Just give you a second to listen to it. I say a lot of the remixes they did for this game, they did very, very well, and you can't say that about a lot of remakes. Especially ones that overhaul the OST like this. But that's one of the reasons why this game brought me back, why it rekindled my love for Pokemon. And as you can imagine, Lupus is going to catch up in levels very, very quickly. Switch training like this. What I'm hoping for is that by the end of this particular dungeon and the gym that he'll be close enough in levels that I don't have to switch train for him anymore. That may not be possible, but I'm gonna try. Because he'll be very helpful in the next gym if we can get him up to level, get him up to speed. But you'll notice the Team Rocket grunts. This isn't going to be the only time we run into them in the game. Their main specialties are typical normal-type Pokemon like Rattata, and mainly poison types, which we'll run into a little bit later, but they also like Zubats. I don't think there's any... I mean, of all the evil organizations running around Pokemon nowadays, I don't think any team is better associated with a particular Pokemon than Team Rocket and Zubat. But you'll notice a lot of the moves that Lupus is going to learn, I'm not going to bother with, because I think his moveset will hold him for a very, very long time. I really think I gave him a moveset that was a little bit too good. I do believe we need to take some time to heal up Duster, though. Running out of potions, I should be more careful. So let's see if I can run into that Pokemon. Darn Zubats and their confusion. If only Lupus was fast enough to run away. Oh well. A Super Potion! Not too shabby. Do all Rocket Grunts have purple hair? It certainly seems that way. That's one of the few things I don't like about Pokemon games, that all of the particular kinds of trainers that you face off against look exactly the same. And they did remedy that a little bit, as you'll see at the end of this dungeon, which I have mixed feelings about, but for the most part, if you face the same kind of trainer 30 or 40 times in a game, and even though they all have different names, they look exactly the same, it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I guess that's one of those things from the earlier days that just isn't going to change. I mean, it's really difficult to make a remake like this and not change a bunch of things. Some things have to be changed. They'll either be for the better or for the worst. And really, you just can't help it when you have to overhaul a game like this. I mean, when it comes to remaking games like Gold and Silver in the style of the 4th generation here, you're going to have to make a lot of changes, a lot of musical changes, a lot of visual changes, and people have mixed feelings about certain things that you do or things that you don't do. It's a lot harder to... What I'm trying to say is it's much more difficult to do a remake very well than it is to just come up with a brand new topic, a brand new game, a brand new thing where you don't have a standard already in place for you to adhere to. That's just my opinion, though. I mean, if I'm making something completely brand new, I have a blank canvas. I don't have to set a certain standard or appeal to a certain audience, because I'm doing whatever I feel like doing. But if it's something that's already been done before, and it's something that people expect certain things from, you have to be a lot more careful. And it looks like Mareep gained enough levels to finally evolve! We've heard that music a lot today. Sleepy evolved into Flaffy! He's still a little bit cute, but not as cute as he once was. I don't know, I just prefer the way Mareep looks to Flaffy. But you can see, once a Pokemon reaches a certain level, sometimes it will evolve. And when it does, its statistics will generally go up. I say generally because there are a few cases where that isn't accurate, but those are few and far between. So let's heal up Duster before we move on. I'm really hoping we can run into that certain Pokemon down here. I do believe there's a hidden item either over here or in the rock. Another Super Potion. I do think Mareep is cuter than Flappy. Oh no, look at that Slowpoke! It doesn't have its tail anymore. It's so cruel to think about. I mean, you hear about these guys taking over the world and stealing Pokemon, but that doesn't necessarily harm them, you know? I mean, it may make them feel a little bit sad to no longer have their original trainers, but, you know, they'll get used to it. Here they're actually cutting off their tail. The worst part about being interrupted in the middle of recording, completely losing track of what it was you were saying. Oh, how awkward. I think Lupus will reach a level that he'll at least be able to put up a fight by the end of this dungeon. I'm really hoping to. You know what? Let's see what he's worth. I think he's got a super effective attack against the Zubat. Come on, Lupus, show us your stuff! Show us what you're made of! Just look at that attack. It looks so badass. I have to say, though, normally when I'm playing through a Pokemon game, I'm not playing through it with the battle animations because they do take a while, and they're kind of annoying to have to sit through. But just seeing some of them for the first time, they look really nice. And Lupus has gone from newborn to full-fledged... I don't know. He's fighting for himself now! It was only 15 minutes ago that he was hatched from an egg, and now he's finally defending himself. That's a lot to ask from a newborn, isn't it? I'm not a very good trainer, am I? You know what? I'm curious. I think since Lupus's special attack is greater than his physical attack, and Dark Pulse just has a higher base power, it may do more. No, it does about the same. I think most of his moves are going to do about the same for a little while. It won't be long before Dark Pulse just outclasses everything else. But he's gaining levels on his own! Oh, my heart is sinking. Sinking in joy. Aw, I love you too. And he's fast enough to run away from Zubats! It has a male. Oh, the Slowpoke belonged to somebody. That's terrible. Are you the one responsible for this? Executive Proton. This is one of the biggest changes they made from the original two games, that the 4 executives you face off against actually have names! And they're named for certain types of rockets, which seems fitting and well done, actually. Normally they just have completely random names that have nothing to do with them. But the Team Rocket executives are actually named after rockets. That makes sense! Really, though, it kind of threw me off the first time I saw this. Please don't crit me again. I don't know how that first crit did as much as it did. Seems like it did like 3 or 4 times as much damage as it should have. But a coughing, the first coughing we... No, it's not. We ran into one on the Union Cave. Oh, how quickly he forgets. But this one's actually a significantly high level! I can't imagine how much experience Lupus is going to get from this guy. I'm really anxious to use him in the next gym. I just don't know if we'll have him up to speed by that point. It doesn't matter. We'll find something that works. We'll find a way. Especially if we get timely critical hits like that. Well, gee, what do you think? When you cut off innocent Pokemon's tails and sell them for $1 million each, don't think you're gonna get away with it. And Crunch gained a level 2. Everybody's gaining levels today. And we did it! It looks like these guys are finally going to stop cutting off Slowpoke tails, but it seems like they have greater plans. Which begs the question why they were down here in the first place if they had better things to do, but... it looks like Kurt's up and at it again. Well, that's good. And he'll take us straight out of there. And back to his house! A boy called Red. So he was the one who disbanded Team Rocket. But now that everything's back to normal, not only will he give us a couple of fastballs, but he'll also offer us the option of giving him apricorns to make Pokeballs out of. Now, I'll list in the video description what apricorns give you what kind of Pokeballs, but this isn't the only use for apricorns in the game. There's another one that we'll run into later on. I think I'll give him... Do I want to give him the black apricorns? I think I'll give him my white one, because I know exactly what the white ones give you. I'm not entirely sure what the black ones do. So we'll just give him that to hold on to. It'll take him about a day to make it, and after a day passes, we'll be able to come back and get the Pokeball he made for us. He'll call us when it's done. So how's your Slowpoke feeling? Yeah, Slowpoke was the one I was hoping to run into in the Slowpoke Well, but oh well. Water Psychic type, we've seen it before. And now that our adventure is done in the Slowpoke Well, we can now finally access the gym, which we're going to have to save until next time. So I'll go heal these guys up, and meet you outside the Pokemon Center next time. This is UniversalGiant, and Lupus is Dizzy.